Season 2 of DTBY's community podcast hosted by the CYC.
We are a movement dedicated to inspiring, mentoring, and building the leadership qualities of tomorrow's leaders.
Last season, our focus was promoting inclusivity and raising awareness about organizations making a difference in our community.
This season, we're focusing on individuals who are creating impact on the lives of youth.
Before we introduce this episode's guest, we would first like to offer a land acknowledgement.
Although this gathering is virtual, we recognize that DTBY convenes on the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the traditional territory of many nations, including the Haudenosaunee and the Huron-Wendat peoples, also serving as home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples.
At the Dare to Be Youth charity, we are proud to promote the spirit of helping, sharing, and caring for our neighbors without the expectation that has been exemplified by each of these nations as the first peoples of this land for thousands of years. And we wish to acknowledge our gratitude for the ongoing opportunity to live, work, and build community on this land.
It is our collective responsibility to care for each other, to care for these lands. And it is past time to turn reflection into action. We challenge ourselves and everyone here today to commit to one tangible next step to move this work forward. Welcome back to DTBY's community podcast, and welcome to the 5th episode of our new season. My name is Inshira, and I'll be the host for this episode, alongside with my fellow CYC member, Ellis. On behalf of DTBY and the rest of the CYC, it is our pleasure to welcome Far, the founder of Python Spit. We're partnering with Far for Python Spit 2023 live event at Youth Inspire Community Day on November 5th. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
To start, we're going to start off with our first question, which is, we want to ask you, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Thanks for asking, and I'm so grateful for all of your time, folks. I am an entrepreneur. So I started as a professional golfer 25 years ago. I played golf on the tour, and then I got really tired of being poor. And I then used my education, which was in kinesiology, and I joined my family business. And so I'm a podorthist, so we make custom orthotics for your feet. I also own a travel business, and I also have a golf events business where we run lots of golf clinics and golf camps and golf retreats. So I guess you could say I'm an entrepreneur that wears many hats.
Amazing.
Can you explain in detail what Python Spit is?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people know what Dragon's Den is or Shark Tank, which is basically it's a pitch competition, right? So what we wanted to do was create something that was regional and local and catered to high school kids. And the idea is to give you an opportunity to pitch an idea that you think can change the world. And so what we're doing is accepting applications. We screen them, and then we pick the top applications. We mentor them. You get connected with local business professionals that can help you develop your idea and train you how to make a 3-minute pitch. And then the finalists are selected to make a 3-minute pitch, and all 3 finalists receive $1,000. So it's a really cool way to build some skills for entrepreneurship, for leadership, public speaking skills, to be able to give you the voice, to be able to broadcast this idea, and 3, to help maybe start some thinking along the entrepreneurial side.
It's honestly amazing to hear. I think it's really cool how you make such a great opportunity accessible to people in our region. So on that basis, we wanted to ask you, how can people apply?
It's really, really easy. You know, we've had different types of applications over the years, but we're basically down to send us a 90-second video. So if you have an idea that can change the world, video yourself. It doesn't have to be a high-quality recording. Video yourself, 90 seconds. Tell us why you think your idea can change the world. Give us a quick indication of what the problem is that you're trying to solve, right? In any business, it's a solution that'll sell, right? So what's the problem? What's your solution? And then, maybe your overview of how you expect to develop that. What we get from the video, what our screening team gets from the video is you, number one, how you present, whether your idea has been well thought out, what different categories you want to be in, whether it's social, whether it's business. There's so many different ways that you can impact and change the world. Environmental, doesn't really matter. As long as you have an idea that can change the world, video yourself and either Dropbox and email it, or send it to us either via direct message on our social channels. And all that info on how to apply is on the website pythonspit.ca.
Okay, then let's move on to our next question. How long has Python Spit been going on for?
It started in 2012 as a Rotary Club project. I'm a Rotarian, and it started as a Rotary Club project, and then it grew so big that we then became an official not-for-profit organization, and then started doing it. Of course, we've had no Python Spit since COVID, but it started in 2012.
That's amazing to hear that it's coming back up again. For Python Spit 2023, we know that students across Canada will be pitching their big impact ideas. We wanted to ask you what inspired you to create this event and positively impact the lives of youth?
Yeah, I've always been a Dragon's Den fan, for one, as an entrepreneur. But when I was, so in 2011, I owned Burlington Orthotics Center, which is a local business in Burlington, making orthotics. And I was asked as a business owner to be a judge at a local high school Python Spit event, which was at, actually it was a grade 8 entrepreneurial, sorry, not Python Spit event, an entrepreneurial fair. So grade 8 was having like a mock Dragon's Den, and this school had asked for business folks in the area to be judges. So I was asked to be a judge. And so part of my responsibility was going to this event and judging all these grade 8 kids for their entrepreneurial fair, and then the top 3 pitched their ideas. I was so impressed, literally blew me away of the ideas and the thought that these grade 8 kids would put into this, that I took it right to Tom McLeod, who is the president of the Python Spit board, and also on my Rotary Club. And I said, Tom, we have to do something like this to help encourage young kids to think entrepreneurially, and how can we fund this, and how can we make it accessible? And so we took it to our Rotary Club, and all the Rotary Clubs in Halton actually jumped on board, and Python Spit was born.
Amazing.
That's amazing. Our next question. How could you have benefited from having more mentorship and support as a young person?
That's an excellent question, Inshira. And I wish I had something like this when I was a young person. I'm an immigrant to Canada myself. And for me, it was all about education, right? I mean, when you come from, I was born in Kenya in East Africa. When you come from a poor country and you have the opportunities that Canada provides, your goal is to educate yourself. And I was actually kind of lonely in that sense, and if I had the mentorship opportunities, I think it would have really helped me develop as a business person, as an entrepreneur, in an easier way. Like I had to do everything on my own. Like thankfully, my father is sort of our mentor, for business, for my brothers and I. And so we had someone in the family who had that business acumen, but a lot of people don't have that, right? And I think the mentorship piece is the part that excites me the most about Python Spit, because it's about the connections that you make. It's about the relationships that you build that actually create a better individual, a more well-rounded individual, right? You could be the smartest person in the world, but if you don't have a network of people around you, it's very hard to succeed. And so what Python Spit does is brings that mentorship and that community around young people to support, to get them started so that it's an easier start and you have that base that you can reach out to for support.
Network, it's really so important. It's great to hear that you're providing this kind of like opportunity for students. I'm sure a lot will benefit from that. So to kind of sum it up, for any youth watching or listening right now, why would you recommend applying to Python Spit?
I think the question should be, why would you not apply to Python Spit, right? I mean, it's free, number one. You can win $1,000, number two. Number three, you get connected to business leaders and mentors in your community. And number four, it's a skill. It's a skill that you can develop and learn that you can't learn in other conventional ways, right? So if you have an idea and you want to share it with the world and you want to have a chance to enter this contest, also, it looks really good on a resume. We've had so many Python Spit applicants actually get scholarships in the universities of their choice because they put Python Spit on their application as their extracurricular, as an added, business thing that they've done or social enterprise that they've done. And it's really an impressive thing to have on your resume when you say that you have pitched in front of thousands of people and had mentorship from local business moguls in your community. So actually, I think the question should be, why shouldn't you apply?
Yeah, that's okay. So moving on to our last question. Do you have any tips for youth applying to Python Spit?
Yes, my tip is don't be afraid. Yes, I get it. It's vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there. You're taking a video of yourself and you're like, well, what will people say? Well, I think what you're doing is you're actually taking a risk to be vulnerable, to show your true inner spirit, right? Because that's what we want you to do. We want you to have some confidence and show that confidence. And you don't have to be the best public speaker in the whole world. We'll train you how to make that 3-minute pitch. We just want you to have a well thought out idea and be passionate about your idea and be able to present that.
Really so inspiring. I'm sure that students who are going to be applying to Python Spit, as well as Inshira and myself, I'm sure we'll take that to heart. It's really
I'm glad you're both
inspiring.
applying. That's great.
We'll try our best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that would conclude this episode of DTBY's community podcast. On behalf of the rest of the Community Youth Council and Dare to Be Youth, I'd like to thank you, FAR, for supporting youth and creating impact in your community. It really takes a village to support and empower the leaders of tomorrow, and we can't make an impact alone. So it is so important to create community partnerships such as this one. For any high school students watching or listening, applications are now open for you to submit your big impact idea for Python Spit 2023. Like mentioned, the top 3 applicants will pitch their big impact idea at YICD Youth Inspire Community Day on November 5th, receive professional mentorship, and $1,000. We are also looking for mentors and investors to support the dreams of the top 3 winners and bring their ideas to life. So if you are looking to invest in youth leadership, fill out the form in our caption to get in touch. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for having me.